think we're going to see a number of major moves, right? So I talked in my presentation about the mobile ubiquitous revolution, right? So we're going to get new devices, tablets, iPods. We call them post-PCs at Forrester, right? So these are new devices that are significantly different from the previous, like netbooks, PCs, in a way that they run different operating systems. There's a lot more ways to interact with devices than before. There's a lot more places you can actually put data on these devices, and consequently, there's a lot more ways to lose data from these devices, right? So, protecting these devices is clearly one of the areas. How you're going to do mobile authentication, logging into applications using thick clients, thin clients, mobile browsers into sites. How you're going to actually store credentials on these devices is very important, and how are you going to actually protect data, right? Corporate sensitive data that gets downloaded onto these devices or gets looked at on these devices. How are you going to take care of that and wipe it if the device gets lost or stolen, right? So mobile devices is clearly one trend, right? The other area that we see is largely the pattern recognition. So whilst in the past we've had like pretty static filters as to how you want to identify sensitive information, right? Maybe credit card numbers or we call them social security numbers or equivalents, PII, personally identifiable information, right? It was a fairly challenging but manageable task of recognizing data assets that contain these sensitive elements, right? The focus has clearly been moving from just static recognition towards pattern recognition. So, what it looks like when an individual is trading with credit card numbers versus inadvertently mailing them out to their Hotmail account to their buddy, right? What it looks like when someone is part of a scheme or a fraud ring to basically steal data in terms of industrial espionage, right? So recognizing patterns, recognizing repeatable activities is clearly one of these things. And today I just blogged on our Forrester Security Risk Management blog about Watson, right, beating Jeopardy champions, right, in 3 rounds, right? Clearly, pattern recognition, deduction, and basically the area of artificial intelligence, right, and also natural language processing, natural data processing, will also play into this new security paradigm. So that's basically the second thing. And the third thing is obviously the cloud, right? So you're going to have to protect information in your private or public cloud infrastructure environments. What happens after you upload all your CRM data to Salesforce.com and Salesforce has a challenge or a data breach, right? How they're going to control all those data assets, right? This also applies to auditing, access recertification for your users, and management data for these users. So I think primarily is the primary challenge is obviously education. I talked about this in my speech the past 2 days. It's obviously on making people understand that this is not dissimilar from protecting their valuables while they're traveling on mass transit, right? How you can continue to educate the population and your citizens that what they're doing is directly related to data security, how they actually protect their own data assets and how they treat the data assets of the governments, right? So that's one area of challenges. Obviously, enterprises have the same kind of issue, how they protect their own assets, how they protect their data assets that their business partners need to work on, right? So there's a lot of assets that, if you're an automotive manufacturer, you are working with tens of thousands of suppliers, and you actually have to show them your designs, right? And they have to guard those. How you can actually apply data protection to those intellectual property pieces so that you can basically retract them or kind of pull them out from the hands of a business partner who no longer is capable of guarding those. In the past, we've seen IT or IT security organizations playing the bad cop kind kind of role, right? That really meant that, when anyone wanted to do something different, more use Facebook, social media, Twitter, any kind of non-legacy enterprise kinds of applications, right? The answer is no, you can't do this, right? You cannot bring your own computer to work. We have to do cavity searches before and after you come to our facility. You have to leave your USB devices in a locker. You cannot have cameras on your mobile phone, and so on, right? The transformation, I think, that we're starting to see with Intel acquiring McAfee and Symantec going after VeriSign is clearly two things, right? So moving security much closer, right, towards basic infrastructure. So the computer, the virtual machine, the CPU, the desktop, right? So, and kind of ensuring that security is built into these basic infrastructures, right? You've got monitoring capabilities, auditing, prevention, intrusion detection, et cetera. So that's one area, right? And the other area is clearly understanding how you can actually dictate your requirements to application developers in the form of a checklist or set of guidelines or principles that your application developers or your software vendors need to follow for them to be able to work with you to meet your security standards and requirements.